Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women.
Today, I choose love. From my past, my future, to my family and friends, I choose love. With everything we've got going on in the world today, all the hate and negativity, love is all we have, and it's all we need. If you can start each day with love, you will watch your world change. But the time is now to forgive, to forget, to move on. Do this and your perspective will change. If I know one thing, I would rather live in a world with love and openness than a world full of pain. And it's our choice to believe in something bigger than us. One world, one people, one love.
The Women of Courage show is being broadcast by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help you problem solve, to help you dream again, to help you believe that anything is possible. We want you to believe that you do not have to marry the first man you meet just to get someone to take care of you. You do not have to live a life of drudgery. You can educate yourself. All you have to do is learn to read competently. We want you to take a chance on yourself. Stop believing all the soothsayers around you that have never left a state in their lives. People who do not have courage to fly. People who only think of lying, cheating, and stealing. You can live an exciting life. All you have to do is believe that you can make your dreams come true. You do not have to go to bed with someone you despise day in and day out. You have the right to marry someone that you can talk to someone that believes in you and has faith in you as a human being. In other words, you do not have to settle for just anyone. But what you must do is strive toward your goal. You must be goal oriented. You must organize yourself. You must be clear about what you want in life and why you want such a life. All of us are made up of dreams. As our dreams unfold in our lives, our spirit soars. Realizing our dreams becomes a problem because oftentimes we are beaten down by our friends and family. We are beaten down at school by people laughing at us because of our shoe size, our ear size, our breast size, the clothes we wear, etc. We are beaten down by people saying nothing will come of our lives. We are beaten down when our mothers and grandmothers constantly say that we're going to be just like our father, an inmate in prison. Many of us are also discouraged when our mothers are inattentive. She is wrapped up in her new boyfriend. But life anew is possible. It is my job to encourage you to go as far as you can dream and as far as your dreams can take you. It is my job to get you to believe in life again. I am sick and tired of people failing at life just because they are around negative speaking and negative acting people. Do not let the failure of other people make you lose confidence in yourself. Yes, you may be surrounded by poverty, but you must look for a way out. The book, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, will help you. What you must do above all else is learn to read competently. You must read, and read. Anyone who laughs at you for reading, you need to leave that person alone. I do not care if it's your mother. Anyone who discourages you, you are to stop all association. Man is not different than plants. We need encouragement to grow as plants need water to thrive. You are to leave foolish, stupid people alone. Their ignorance will weigh you down or even get you killed. Sit down and think how you can avoid these people, especially if they're in your family. If you are overwhelmed with the tiring feeling that feels as if you're carrying a bag of stone around every morning when you get out of bed and think how you'll have to spend another living life you're not passionate about, the books I suggest are the perfect solution for your unique needs. Not only will we help you realize why these feelings overwhelm you and what you can do to change it, but they will also teach you how to live a life of strength, courage, fearlessness in order to realize all of your dreams. If you are lacking the attitude and psychology, proper resource or vision to make your dreams a reality, combined with dissatisfaction with the execution of your plans, but you remain firmly dedicated to making your ambition a reality and creating the life you deserve, you will certainly derive the most benefit from professional, incredible content within these books. Contents that will assist you in achieving the results that you are after. You are never to give up on yourself. Are you ready to leave your future to chance? Of course not. Take your life in your hand and learn all the necessary tools, mindset, strategies used by the men and women of courage, used in order to live the life of their dream. Change your life with our book starting today. This show is being dedicated to Congressman Elijah Eugene Cummings to give recognition to his life. This is Thanksgiving week. It is my way of saying thank you. I did not know Congressman Cummings, but I knew he was in Congress working for me. Whenever the newspapers spoke of him, he was always in the midst of solving or discussing the solution to a problem. He was all about helping people. As you know, Representative Cummings died October 17, 2019, from a long illness which very few people knew he had. His illness was never noticed in public. No one knew publicly that he was that ill. In fact, very few people knew he was hospitalized for weeks at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Maryland. What people thought was he was working as the chairman of the Committee on Oversight and Reform, because just the week of his death, several of his papers were signed and sent to Congress. This is why most people did not know he was in the hospital. He was assigned to the chair of the Committee on Oversight and Reform January 2019, and he worked this assignment until his death October of this year. The Committee on Oversight and Reform is the main investigative committee of the United States House of Representatives. The committee's broad jurisdiction and legislative authorities make it one of the most influential and powerful panels in the House. The committee oversees the federal government and all of its agencies to ensure efficiency, effectiveness, and accountability. The committee oversees government operations, healthcare, information technology, interior, energy and environment, national security, and intergovernmental affairs. Chairman Cummings was interested in any information regarding waste, fraud, abuse of tax dollars. This is why he supported a whistleblower. The Oversight Committee did have subpoena power. On July 10th, 2019, a hearing was held by the United States Oversight Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, and it was entitled Kids in Cages: The Inhumane Treatment at the Border of Children and Families, including child detention centers on the southern U.S. borders. James Raskin, a Democrat also from Maryland, chaired the session, which included testimonies from a mother whose child died at the age of 19 months while being detained in the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is called ICE, in a center in Dilley, Texas. In his opening statement, Jamie Raskin said that hundreds of thousands of people have responded to the harsh policies by deciding to immigrate now before things get worse. Congressman Cummings supported this action of his subcommittee. Representative Elijah Eugene Cummings graduated Baltimore City College in 1969 at the age of 18. 4 years later, he went to Howard University. Then 3 years later, he went to the University of Maryland's Law School. He was determined. He was committed not only to getting an education, he exhibited a great deal of self-control to complete his law degree. He was not wealthy. He paid dearly for his education. During this time, he had 2 children he had to support. He began his career of public service in the Maryland House of Delegates, where he served 14 years from January 12, 1983 to January 10th, 1996. There, he also became the first African American in Maryland history to be named Speaker Pro Tem. Again, look at the personal characteristics he demonstrated during these 14 years. He demonstrated resolve, commitment, self control, and fortitude. He was elected to the United States Congress for the state of Maryland in 1996. He served 23 years in Congress, serving the people of this nation. So let's go back again. He served 14 years in the Maryland legislature, and he served 23 years in Congress. When I read his history, I learned that he had 3 children from 2 different women. 2 girls he spoke of, but a son he never mentioned. The son's name remains unknown to history. The one thing is evident: Congressman Cummings had a great relationship with his Democratic co-workers. You could tell that they were very, very hurt when he died. His wife was chair of the Maryland Democratic Party. A chair is a very difficult job indeed. One thing that I also did not know is that he wrote for the Baltimore African American newspaper. He wrote a bi-weekly column for that newspaper. Later you will hear from President Barack Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Again, this is my thank you to Elijah Eugene Cummings for all of his services.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Because this is the day for the homegoing celebration of a great man, a moral leader, and a friend. To Bishop Walter Scott Thomas and First Lady of the Church, Patricia Thomas, and the new Psalmist Baptist Church, thank you for welcoming us all here to reflect on the life and celebrate the service of Elijah Cummings. And to the Cummings family, to his political family, the constituents from the Maryland Congressional 7th District, thank you for sharing him with our country and the world. And thank you, Maya. As you have said so beautifully, you walked by Elijah's side on this journey. Thank you for your steadfastness, your resilience, and your leadership. It is no coincidence, is it, that Elijah Cummings shared a name with an Old Testament prophet, whose name meant in Hebrew, "The Lord is my God," and who used the power and the wisdom that God gave him to uphold the moral law that all people are subject to, and because of all people are equal. Like the prophet, our Elijah could call down fire from heaven but he also prayed and worked for healing. He weathered storms and earthquakes, but never lost his faith. Like that Old Testament prophet, he stood against corrupt leadership of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. And he looked out for the vulnerable among us. He lifted up the next generation of leaders. He even worked a few miracles. And he kept reminding us, life is no dress rehearsal. The American people want to live their lives without fear of their leaders. And as leaders, we have a responsibility to keep the promises made when running for office to make the lives of Americans better. As Elijah said, while we're all on this earth, that's my message. Our Elijah was a fierce champion for truth, justice, and kindness in every part of his life. His integrity and character, his can-do spirit, made him a guiding light in the Congress. He pushed back against the abuse of power. He was unwavering in his defense of our democracy. He had little tolerance for those who put party ahead of country or partisanship above truth. But he could find common ground with anyone willing to seek it with him. And he liked to remind all of us that you can't get so caught up in who you are fighting that you forget what you are fighting for. Even his political adversaries recognized that it wasn't really about politics for our Elijah. He led from his soul. He often said that our children are a message to a future we will never see. I saw that firsthand when I attended an event for the Elijah Cummings youth program in Israel. A leadership program for young people in his district. And Elijah didn't just put his name on the program and then forget about it. He interviewed every applicant. He was personally invested in their success. He wanted all of us to see our young people as he memorably asked us to do when he gave the eulogy at the funeral for Freddie Gray. Did you see him? By the time these young people came back from Israel to Baltimore, they had celebrated Shabbat, studied Hebrew, hiked up Masada. They had seen and been seen and made lifelong friends, all because Elijah Cummings knew from his own experiences that it's one thing to learn abstractly about the world, but another to experience it with people different from yourself, learning from each other, lifting each other up. You know, Elijah often said his philosophy was simple: do something. Go out and do something. No matter how daunting a problem seems, no matter how helpless you feel, surely there is something you can do. I think that remains his challenge to each of us. As he said, even if it seems small, there's usually something you can do if you are looking for it. You can defend the truth. You can defend democracy. You can lift up others. And toward the end of his life, he said, I am begging the American people to pay attention to what is going on. Because if you want to have a democracy intact for your children and your children's children and generations yet unborn, we have got to guard this moment. This is our watch. Our Elijah knew, because he was a man of faith and a man of the church, that life was fleeting and precious. And that's why he worked so hard to make every moment of his life count. When we're dancing with the angels, the question will be asked, he said, in 2019, what did we do to make sure we kept our democracy intact? I will end with the paraphrase of a poem that Elijah recited in his very first speech in the Congress. He said that he told himself this poem as many as 20 times a day. I only have a minute, 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, I did not choose it, but I know that I must use it. Give account if I abuse it, suffer if I lose it. Only a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Thank you, Elijah Cummings, for your work, your service, and the lessons you leave us. God bless you.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.
I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now,
Resolve is defined as successfully finding the answer to something or making a decision about something. And this is tough for some people, but this is one of the most important things you can do in your life is deciding firmly and declaring what your purpose will be in this life. Now, you might not have the best job, the best education, or the best family situation, but the starting point to making that change is showing resolve, deciding, what do you want to change in your life? Once you make that decision, you can now focus on what steps are needed to make that change. What steps today can you make to see that change happen? Remember, you are the women of courage. Today, I want to talk about response. How do you personally respond to a setback in your life? I heard a pastor once say, don't let a bad chapter in your life be the final chapter. And that really hit me. How often do we let one bad thing in our life own us? You lost your job, your family left you, you struggle with abuse or addiction. Those things do happen in life, but that's not what you focus on. You focus on the response. How do I move forward now? What do I do now? Real faith is believing in something big, but willing to start small. I want to talk today about commitment, the act of making an agreement or a pledge to do something in the future. Now listen, we are all called by God, and through Him is our strength. So during these times, these hardships, we need to stay committed. Committed to His Word, committed to freeing yourself from the negativity, committed to empowering yourself, bettering yourself, and living your life to the fullest. Through God, all is possible. Once you believe, and once you are committed. You are the women of courage. Today, I want to talk about self-control, the restraint exercised over one person's impulses, emotions, or desires. It is easy nowadays to lose control. We eat too much, drink too much, everything is accessible to us. The hard part in life is finding that balance, that presence of mind to know what is good for you, and to live with that discipline. I know through my own journey that when I am balanced, when I'm showing self-restraint, I start moving better. I start thinking better. I become more confident in who I am. And that's what I want you to think about. What can you do to become more balanced, to act on need and not on emotion? Remember, you are the women of courage. Fortitude can be defined as the strength of mind that enables a person to encounter danger or to bear pain or adversity with courage and staying power. Think about that for a moment. Fortitude is the strength you have when you go through adversity. Everyone listening will go through pain, struggle, and disappointment in our lives. That is a fact. But what defines each of us is what we do after that pain, after that struggle and disappointment. Do we lay down and become a victim, or do we rise up and continue to push forward, continue to believe, continue to fight for ourselves? Remember, you are the women of courage.
Bishop and First Lady and the new Psalmist family, to the Cummings family, Maya, Mr. President, Madam Secretary, Madam Speaker, Governor, friends, colleagues, staff, the seeds on good soil the parable of the sower tells us stands for those with a noble and good heart who hear the word, retain it, and by persevering, produce a crop. The seed on good soil. Elijah Cummings came from good soil. And in this sturdy frame, goodness took root. His parents were sharecroppers from the South. They picked tobacco and strawberries, and then sought something better in this city, South Baltimore. And Robert worked shifts at a plant, and Ruth cleaned other people's homes. They became parents of 7, preachers to a small flock. I remember I had the pleasure of meeting Elijah's mother, Ruth, and she told me she prayed for me every day. And I knew it was true. And I felt better for it. Sometimes people say they're praying for you, and you don't know. They might be praying about you, but you don't know if they're praying for you. But I knew Miss Ruth was telling the truth. So they were the proverbial salt of the earth. And they passed on that strength and that grit, but also that kindness and that faith to their son. As a boy, Elijah's dad made him shine his shoes and tie his tie, and they'd go to the airport, not to board the airplanes, but to watch others do it. I remember Elijah telling me this story. Robert would say, "I have not flied, I may not fly, but you will fly one day. We can't afford it right now, but you will fly." As grandmother, as Elijah related, and as grandmothers do, was a little more impatient with her advice. Your daddy, she said, he's been waiting and waiting and waiting for a better day. Don't you wait. And Elijah did not wait. Against all odds, Elijah earned his degrees. He learned about the rights that all people in this country are supposed to possess, with little help apparently from Perry Mason. Elijah became a lawyer to make sure that others had rights. And his people had their God-given rights. And from the State House to the House of Representatives, his commitment to justice and the rights of others would never, ever waver. Elijah's example, a son of parents who rose from nothing to carve out just a little something, a public servant who toiled to guarantee the least of us have the same opportunities that he had earned. A leader who once said he'd die for his people, even as he lived every minute for them. His life validates the things we tell ourselves about what's possible in this country. Not guaranteed, but possible. The possibility that our destinies are not preordained, but rather through our works and our dedication and our willingness to open our hearts to God's message of love for all people, we can live a purposeful life, that we can reap a bountiful harvest, that we are neither sentenced to wither among the rocks nor assured of bounty, but we have the capacity, the chance, as individuals and as a nation, to root ourselves in good soil. Elijah understood that. That's why he fought for justice. That's why he embraced this beloved community of Baltimore. That's why he went on to fight for the rights and opportunities of forgotten people all across America, not just in his district. He was never complacent, for he knew that without clarity of purpose and a steadfast faith and the dogged determination demanded by our liberty, the promise of this nation can wither. Complacency, he knew, was not only corrosive for our collective lives, but for our individual lives. It's been remarked that Elijah was a kind man. I tell my daughters, and I have to say, listening to Elijah's daughters speak, that got me choked up. I'm sure those of you who have sons feel the same way, but there's something about daughters and their father. And I was thinking I'd want my daughters to know how much I love them, but I'd also want them to know that being a strong man includes being kind. That there's nothing weak about kindness and compassion. There's nothing weak about looking out for others. There's nothing weak about being honorable. You're not a sucker to have integrity and to treat others with respect. I was sitting here and I was just noticing the Honorable Elijah E. Cummings. And, you know, this is a title that we confer on all kinds of people who get elected to public office. We're supposed to introduce them as honorable. But Elijah Cummings was honorable before he was elected to office. There's a difference. There's a difference if you were honorable and treated others honorably outside the limelight, on the side of a road, in a quiet moment, counseling somebody you work with. Letting your daughters know you love them. You know, as president, I knew I could always count on Elijah being honorable and doing the right thing. And people have talked about his voice. There is something about his voice. It just made you feel better. You know, there's some people, they have that deep baritone, a prophetic voice. And when it was good times and we achieved victories together, that voice and that laugh was a gift. But you needed it more during the tough times, when the path ahead looked crooked, when obstacles abounded, when I entertained doubts, or I saw those who were in the fight start to waver. That's when Elijah's voice mattered most. And more than once during my presidency, when the economy still looked like it might plunge into depression, when the health care bill was pronounced dead in Congress, I would watch Elijah rally his colleagues. The cost of doing nothing isn't nothing, he would say. And folks would remember why they entered into public service. Our children are the living messengers we send to a future we will never see, he would say. And he would remind all of us that our time is too short not to fight for what's good and what is true and what is best in America. 200 years to 300 years from now, he would say, people will look back at this moment and they will ask the question, what did you do? And hearing him, we would be reminded that it falls upon each of us to give voice to the voiceless and comfort to the sick, an opportunity to those not born to it, and to preserve and nurture our democracy. Elijah Cummings was a man of noble and good heart. His parents and his faith planted the seeds of hope and love and compassion and righteousness in that good soil of his. He has harvested all the crop that he could. For the Lord has now called Elijah home to give his humble, faithful servant rest. And it now falls on us to continue his work, so that other young boys and girls in Baltimore, across Maryland, across the United States, and around the world might too have a chance to grow and to flourish. That's how we will honor him. That's how we will remember him. That's what he would hope for. May God bless the memory of the very honorable Elijah Cummings. And may God bless this city and this state and this nation that he loved. God bless you. Thank you.
I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now,
Having a goal or a plan to accomplish something isn't enough. You need to dig deeper than that. You need to tap into your subconscious to begin to reprogram your mind. And you do this through positive affirmations. Short statements that you repeat every day, regardless of your goal, how big or little. Whether your goal is to make more money, be a better boyfriend or girlfriend, or find a better job, whatever your goal is, you need to come up with short positive statements about that goal and repeat it each morning. Start by doing this for 5 minutes. And once you begin to do this, you will start to see how the subconscious and conscious mind can work together. You have the potential to do amazing things. And through positive affirmations, you start to build that confidence. Think of all the goals that you've made in the past. Think about the mindset you were in at that moment. It was one of confidence and control. I will be successful in my job. I will make my next promotion. I will meet the love of my life. These are words of affirmation. Now tell me, what are your words? Today, I choose love. From my past, my future, to my family and friends, I choose love. With everything we've got going on in the world today, all the hate and negativity, love is all we have, and it's all we need. If you can start each day with love, you will watch your world change. But the time is now to forgive, to forget, to move on. Do this and your perspective will change. If I know one thing, I would rather live in a world with love and openness than a world full of pain. And it's our choice to believe in something bigger than us. One world, one people, one love. Today, I want to talk about declaration, making the announcement about who you will become. The thing about declaring or making a statement is once you say it, you begin to own it. It becomes yours. Today, I will no longer be a victim. Today, I will begin to make change. Today, I will start to take care of myself. Those are statements that you can own. Do not allow someone else's opinion have the final words on your heart. I want you to declare who you are. Declare who you will become. Today is the day for change. Resilient is defined as someone that can recover from or adjust easily to misfortune. Now I'm telling you, life is gonna throw a lot of things your way. Some will be good and some will be bad. It is easy to be happy and optimistic when life is great. It is easy to be happy when your money's up, when your family's close, when you have a job. But we all know, life won't always be like this. So when those dark times start to happen, you need to realize this is just a season to a very long book about your life. You need to realize you are stronger than you think. You can overcome adversity through faith and understanding. You are strong and not alone.
Menzies Salon and Spa is now offering $25 flat irons Tuesdays and $55 relaxer, touch-up, trim, style included on Wednesdays. Full body massage for $29. Barbers on duty. Menzies Salon and Spa is a full-service spa and salon located at 22884 Ryan at 9 Mile Road in Warren, Michigan. Call 586-510-4545.
Hello, this is Donna Stinson. Won't you join me every third Monday for Can We Talk About It, where we do talk about the elephant in the room. You can catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, Comcast Channel 90, TV 33, On Demand, YouTube, Facebook Live. We are everywhere. Call in and give us your perspective on the topic of the day. I'll be there waiting to hear from you.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Renee stepping out on faith. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
Dear listeners, help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer in the hands of a million people? Please go to the website www.touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We are trying to reach a million women with this information to save lives. The death of one woman to breast cancer from our community is one woman too many. We thank you for your support. The Women of Courage Show broadcast on WHPR 88.1 FM every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. Please remember, if you are not in your car or near radio during our broadcast, we can be seen and heard on your computer if you go to TV33WHPR.com. Again, TV33WHPR.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on the link WHPR 88.1 FM. We can also be heard on your phone if you download the free app WHPR TV Detroit Live or listen to us on Roku at WHPR TV Detroit Live 88.1 FM. If you missed one of our broadcasts, you can view our archive on YouTube at the Touch by the Light Publishing channel. Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Please join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Do not. Remember, if you miss one of our shows, you can visit our YouTube channel at Touched by the Light Publishing to watch and listen to previous episodes of Women of Courage. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great day.